What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, everybody. You guys can tell something's a little different right now. I got a new haircut. Yeah, you guys can see. Yeah, check the fade. That's pretty good. Today's reaction video is gonna be a very dark one. We're gonna be reacting to the disturbing world of Facebook criminals. Credits to Tuv. And I have been watching his videos for so long. I kind of wanted to do a reaction, but specifically for this one, because this video I find it very interesting because, you know, Facebook, everyone's on Facebook, the old heads are on Facebook, so I was like, let me make a reaction about this. So you can get right into it. Make sure you guys drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, we're gonna get right into this video.
From selling counterfeit items and the police kicking down the Facebook seller's door down on stream, to live streaming borderline torture, to even luring victims with a Facebook marketplace listing and robbing them on the spot. Today, we talk about the dangerous world of Facebook criminals. Hey guys, how are you doing? My name is Tuv, and I've seen some of you comment that like, why don't you talk to us anymore? Why do you just get straight into the video? First of all, I thought you guys were annoyed whenever I would talk to you at the beginning of my videos, so now it seems like it's the opposite. But hey guys, I just want to let you guys know I'm very happy, I'm healthy. In case you guys do care about me, I feel like I've promoted this before. I have a podcast, a solo podcast where I talk about more personal stuff. And obviously you can always catch me on Instagram at my name is Tuv. I post my stories there. When I started this channel, the thing I wanted least was to become a robot behind the screen. I'm not trying to do that. But obviously, if I want to show my personality, I'm talking about sensitive topics. I can't be like, let me make a funny joke here. And like, no, it's just not appropriate. So,
Nah.
so yeah, because you guys do want to know about me, I'm doing great. I appreciate all of you for real. And we have talked about a bunch of other social medias. I mean, we've talked anywhere from Discord to Twitch to YouTube. So it only makes sense to continue with Facebook. And by the way, I do have a longer project I'm working on right now. That one is called One Conspiracy Theory from Every Single State. So this is going to be another big one. Hope you guys catch that. It'll probably be the next upload. But just want to let you guys know. Anyway, let's head on to the actual video.
I won't react to an hour.
The murder of Robert Godwin Sr. In one of the most bizarre trends to hit social media, a man named Steve Steffens committed what is now termed as a performance crime by killing an elderly man named Robert Godwin Sr. The video of the incident showed Steven Steffens opening fire and killing the 74-year-old, who was just collecting aluminum cans on the road. This was in the Glenville area of Cleveland, specifically in East 93rd Street. And just so you know, the idea of a performance crime is that the perpetrator commits an act of violence as a way to please an audience and get their attention. There have been so many crimes, but the reason Steffens' case stands out is the dramatic twist where he turned the gun on himself afterwards. According to ABC News, Steffens murdered Godwin Sr., recorded it, and uploaded the video to Facebook. The video then sparked so much outrage that the police in Cleveland got involved very quickly. They launched a countrywide manhunt for 37-year-old Steffens, but while in pursuit, and before they could get to him, he turned the gun on himself. Police had warned residents of Pennsylvania, New York, Indiana, and Michigan to particularly be on the lookout. Two parts of the crime disturbed most people who heard it. First, the video documenting the crime was up for at least 2 hours on Facebook until it eventually got flagged and taken down. Second, the victim, Robert Godwin, was picked at random, and I guess the residents of Glenville, Cleveland felt any one of them could be next on Steffens' list. In an interview with News 5 right after the incident,
damn, that's bad luck. Very bad luck, bro. The fact that he just targeted an old person is also crazy. Maybe he was just like the first person he saw and he was like, yeah, you know, he's old. I don't know who the fuck he is, but yeah, he's a good target. It's like, you gotta be very careful because you don't know if you're gonna be the target of something that could end your life.
A neighbor said, until he's caught, we're not safe. We don't know where he's at. Steffens was a careers advisor and counselor helping young people find employment. It's noted that he also worked as a case manager at a children's mental health facility. Before the incident, he had posted 2 videos, noting that he had lost everything through his gambling problem and that he was at loggerheads with his girlfriend of 3 years. He had also been evicted from his apartment. Just after these videos detailing his troubles, he shot another video where he stops driving and gets out of the car while notifying the audience that, quote, I found me someone I'm about to kill. Obviously, the video is horrendous, but it's so weird imagining someone with a gun in their hand, but also their phone in the other. It's like, just like,
so I
don't even know, I can't say clout chasing, but it's,
like,
imagine like this, but with a gun on the other hand, and That was the
So he was
video.
like
That's the video. It's like a first
he basically
person.
put the
I mean,
phone in
that's
front
what it
of
is. It's
his,
not
like-
like it's a first person video. After the murder, it took the police 2 days to catch up with him after workers at a fast food chain in the city of Erie, 100 miles away from Glenville, recognized them and alerted the police. Steffens had ordered a 20-piece McNugget and large fries, but the workers delayed his fries so they could call the police. As he tried to escape, the police performed a pit maneuver, which sent him spinning out of control. However,
I've
before
seen
he
that.
completely
I've seen
went
that
off
pit
the
maneuver.
road, he pulled out a pistol and turned the gun on himself. 4 years later, after the incident, Mr. Godwin's daughter wrote a book, From Grief to Grace, just as a way to remember her father and deal with the loss.
Rest in peace, bro.
Eleni Topoluti's tragic Facebook date. The story of Eleni's murder is one of deeply seated misogyny, love, xenophobia, and sheer stupidity. On a fateful night in November of 2018, a Greek student, Eleni Topoluti, went out on a date, never to return and only to be found dead a day later. Her death caused uproar in Greece and beyond, as it turned out to be a brutal murder involving a high-level family in Greece. A week before her death, Eleni was messaged on Facebook by 19-year-old Alexander, who said he had developed an interest in her. Alexander, an Albanian living in Greece, had a fairly attractive profile given his well-built physique and pictures of him running local marathons for charity. He seemed like a nice guy, and this was also reflected in the way that he would compliment Eleni. They friended each other on Facebook and chatted back and forth about random things, including Eleni's love for travel and her visiting the Rhodes Island in Greece, until eventually setting a date. They had never had contact with each other before their Facebook encounter, and to Eleni, this might have seemed just like a normal Facebook date. As agreed, on November 27th of 2018, Alexander came to pick up Eleni from her apartment for the date set out for 10 p.m. They planned to eat out at a local kebab shop. However, as she got into the truck Alexander had come with, Eleni realized there was another person in the truck that apparently was joining them in on the date. This third person was Manolis Kakuras, a twin.
Okay, well, wait, hold on. So imagine you're a girl, right? And you meet this guy on Facebook, and you guys are chatting and all that. Then you guys go on a date. He doesn't tell you behind your back that someone else is going on the date. So basically, third wheeling. But in reality, the intentions of this date weren't like, oh, we're gonna have a nice romantic time. It's like murder on their hand, which is crazy. Oh my god.
Year-old Greek citizen. Manolis and Alexander were friends, and after a chit-chat, they all set out for the date. Now, a key piece of background information that sets this story in perspective is that Manolis was the son of a local tycoon. He was from a family that owned a lot of restaurants and shops in Greece that held considerable power due to their wealth. As you will later realize, this had a great effect on the trial of the case. During the date, Manolis suggested they all go to a family-owned fancy summer house in Lindos, Rhodes Island. They all set out for the house, but beforehand, Eleni messaged her friend to call and basically fake an excuse, like, yo, call me, get me out of the situation, dude. And that call was to be in an hour. So yeah, you could tell she was aware of the weird nature of the situation. At the house, they ate, hung out on the rooftop, and had their drinks. Everything was okay up to this point, and then it went sideways quickly. While on the roof, Alexander and Manolis requested to have sex with Eleni. Based on their testimonies in court, Eleni politely refused, and this is when the physical struggle began. They accosted her, with one of them threatening her with a knife while the other grabbed
So
her
two,
violently.
right?
Eventually, they overpowered her, took her to a room in the house, and assaulted her physically, and she lost
Damn.
consciousness at some point and then regained it after a
no.
while. Although beaten and bruised, she tried to fight back.
Damn, bro, imagine you. Also, in this position, you're like all alone. You're the victim, and like you didn't expect the unexpected. You didn't expect that his friend was gonna be like, hey, you know what? What if we essayed her? What if we just threw her on a bed and we just fucking bang? Also, let me say this. Those guys, like, it doesn't matter how you look. It doesn't matter how you look on your profile. You are still, either you're gonna fall for something or you're gonna find someone that you really love. Let me say this, like, looks, they do matter, but like, you have to know their intention. She just looked at his profile and just did no shit. But like, come on, Eleni, you have to do something better than that. But rest in peace to her.
Told them that she would report this to the police. It was at this point that they decided to kill her. First, they tried strangling her, but they didn't succeed in that, so they ended up battering her
Dang,
face with an
all
iron
those muscles
box.
for no-
And even after that, she
Either it
still
was
didn't
him or
die,
his friend
so
that
they
did
threw her off a cliff into a river. They drove out into a
Alright, well.
remote area, and that's when they threw her off the cliff. Surprisingly, the medical report shows that she didn't die from the fall. Rather, she drowned slowly in the shallow waters of the shore, since she had been paralyzed
That's
by
better
the
than
fall
just
and couldn't swim
falling
away
off
from the
cliff,
water.
in my
Both
opinion.
men, after throwing her
Just
down a cliff,
drowning,
returned to the
just
house,
a quick
took her
death,
clothes,
and then,
and threw them over a cliff
flew
near the house in hope that her clothes and body would be swept by the waters. Unfortunately for them, but fortunately for every sane human being, the tides were against them as the clothes mostly blew back to the cliffside and were later recovered by the police as evidence. Her body was discovered the following morning by 2 fishermen. Her face was so badly beaten it was impossible to recognize her, and it took a rose tattoo on her ankle to identify her. Both men were arrested. However, during the trial period, Alexander got the harsher portrayal, with the Manolese family attempting to influence outcomes in favor of their son. Manolese was painted in the media as an unwilling accomplice, while Alexander received all the blame, especially because he was Albanian. The case actually exposed the inherent xenophobia in Greece, where even courts look less favorably at non-Greece residents. The Manolese family even allegedly hired a doctor to prescribe their son antidepressants to make him seem more weak and unstable. And on top of that, even tried petitioning the court to have an all-male jury. This particular jury request negatively portrayed Greece to the world, with activists pointing at this embedded misogyny. Eventually, on May 20th of 2022, both Manolese Koukouras and Alexander Luka were handed life imprisonment for murder.
See, I don't get about why do you want to rape?
15 years for the Facebook live torture in Chicago. Since Facebook added its live feature a couple years ago, there have been a range of bizarre live streams, and one that is at the top of the list is the live broadcast of a man being tortured by 2 young men and 2 young women. This incident happened back in 2017 in Crystal Lake, when an 18-year-old was kidnapped, tied, and placed in a room where he was tortured. The actual charges, as reported by CNN, included a hate crime, aggravated kidnapping, unlawful restraint, and battery with a deadly weapon. The 4 perpetrators were identified as Tesfaye Cooper, age 18, Brittany Covington, age 18, Jordan Hill, age 18, and Tanisha Covington, age 24. The 2 women, Brittany and Tanisha, are sisters. The victim, an 18-year-old man with a mental disability, was reported missing earlier in the week, and as reported by the Chicago Tribune, it's confirmed that the 4 perpetrators were behind his disappearance.
Why would you want to kidnap an 18-year-old that has a disability? Also, four black people kidnapping one white male that's 18 years old and has a disability. What was your purpose of kidnapping him? Just to torture him? Like oh my god. That's just that is stupid on my end, because I'm like, you just want to kidnap this person just because you want to just torture them, traumatize them or some shit. I don't get that. Come on, you have to do better than that. If he had something on him, money, then they had a reason to kidnap him. I just don't get it why you had to target someone who has a disability, which is fucked up either way.
The parents said they dropped him off at a McDonald's in Schaumburg and never heard from him again until the appearance of the video online. It turns out that after he was dropped off, he was picked up by Jordan Hill in a stolen van, and they drove around for several days before ending up in Covington's apartments. Since the teens knew each other from school, this didn't seem odd until they got into a play fight that escalated into a torture crime. A neighbor heard the torture commotion and called 911. What made the crime even more disturbing is that they decided to share the whole thing on Facebook. The Facebook video was discovered after the teen had already been found. In the video, one of the young women quipped, "Y'all not even commenting on my shit," in reference to her audience not commenting on the live. Police believe that the young man was tied for about 4 to 5 hours. Also in the Facebook video, which lasted for about 30 minutes, he's seen cowering at the corner of the room with a terrified, wide-eyed look. The video shows one of them cutting the victim's scalp with a knife, which I'm obviously not going to show, while one other attacker randomly yells obscenities about Donald Trump and white people. The specific phrases were F Donald Trump and F white people. Police said the victim was, quote, very discombobulated, end quote, when they found him on the street. The attackers were all African American, while the victim appears to be white. The police did, however, refuse to officially divulge the race of the victim. Rather, they said the motive for the attack was because the victim had special needs, rather than because of their race. Pretty odd considering they were saying frick white people while beating on him. CNN did, however, report that the court was considering hate crime charges against the victims. On December 8th of 2017, Brittany Covington pleaded guilty to the charges of committing a hate crime, intimidation, and aggravated battery. Additional charges such as kidnapping were dropped as part of her plea deal. Covington was sentenced to 4 years of probation and 200 hours of community service. On April 19th, 2018, Tanisha Covington pleaded guilty to the charges of committing a hate crime, intimidation, and aggravated battery and was sentenced to 3 years in prison. On July 5th of 2018, Jordan Hill pleaded guilty to the charges of aggravated kidnapping and committing a hate crime and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. On July 12th of 2018, Tesfaye Cooper pleaded guilty to a hate crime and aggravated kidnapping and was sentenced to 7 years in prison. The cold-blooded murders of Janelle Potter's friends. In this case of a Facebook feud that turned into a heinous crime, we explore how a young woman, Janelle Potter, ended up being at the center of one of the most gruesome murders instigated by social media. What exactly happened? Well, on January 31st, 2012, a couple, Billie Jean Hayworth and Billy Payne were found dead by single gunshots to their faces. Payne also had his throat slashed. Billy was holding their infant, a 7-month-old boy who survived the whole ordeal. The couple had been in a feud with Janelle and her partner, Jamie Curd, and a mysterious figure, a man named Chris who allegedly worked for the CIA, was involved. The feud started when Janelle claimed she was being bullied, harassed, and threatened with physical harm by someone posting on her Facebook page. She was convinced that the person behind the anonymous account was Billie Jean, and apparently because she was jealous of her looks. There was a suggested idea that Janelle had fallen in love with Billy Payne, but Payne's sister, Tracy Greenwell, who also happened to be Janelle's first friend in Mountain City, Tennessee, said she didn't think such a romantic relationship existed. Actually, at the time of the murders, Janelle was involved with Jamie Curd. The feud was so bad that Janelle's parents were involved. They had been monitoring her Facebook page because they wanted to protect her. Being strict parents and Janelle having had trouble making friends since childhood, this was regular parenting for them. Janelle's mom, Barbara, had even tried to dissuade the anonymous commenters from bullying her daughter by pleading with them in the comment section. All this protection for Janelle was also because she was a type 1 diabetic and therefore sickly and living at home most of the time. She, however, was hiding her romantic relationship with Curd from her parents. The police had gotten involved at some point in the feud when a rock-ridden Billie Jean and Billy Payne was found on the front lawn of Potter's family. After a while, all these parties unfriended each other on Facebook. A strange bit in the case was that Jamie Curd was texting a guy named Chris, who allegedly worked for the CIA, and told him that it was Curd's job to protect Janelle at all costs. It was later claimed by police that Janelle might have been the one behind the Chris persona because she was lonely and thus Facebook was her place to be, quote, someone she wasn't. Actually, an analysis of IP addresses of emails sent from Chris came from an IP address within Potter's home. After the murders, Janelle's dad was convicted, having confessed to the crime. The dad was named Marvin. The court found Marvin, Barbara, and Janelle guilty of first-degree murder and gave them life imprisonment. Marvin was convicted first in 2012, and Janelle and her mom got convicted in 2015. Another bizarre part is that detectives believe Janelle had used her Chris identity to goad her parents into committing the crime. Her dad, however, refuses this account of events. Surprisingly, in 2021, they appealed their trials, with Marvin claiming that Jamie Curd was involved and specifically was the one that killed Billy Payne. Janelle and the mom plead innocence, citing the fact that they did not influence Marvin's decision to kill. I know that one was pretty complicated, but I hope showing the images on the screen helped you guys understand a little bit. But with that being said, let's head on to the next one. Using Facebook ads to lure and carjack people. In 2022, a pair of teenagers in New York confessed to the FBI that they were responsible for a series of robberies, carjackings, and kidnappings in the Bronx and Yonkers area of New York. Their confessions caught detectives by surprise due to the chilling trickery that was used to lure the victims. Instead of the old scam where perpetrators would pose as car buyers and steal from genuine sellers who show up to offer test drives, Deontay Fernandez, age 19, and Mark Francis, age 18, flipped the script. They posed on Facebook Marketplace as a car seller under the name Tag'em and would rob people who came to buy the car. The New York Post reports that the duo used a red 2019 Hyundai Ioniq to lure two particular targets. In the first instance, they met an unnamed victim on Highland Avenue in Yonkers on the evening of the 26th of September in 2022. The victim drove with a companion to the meeting place in a Honda and met the two teens in the company of a third accomplice. After the five got back from the test drive, one of the pretend sellers pulled a gun and forced the two victims back into the Hyundai car. Meanwhile, the accomplice took the victims' keys, cell phones, and wallets. The victims were later dumped at a busy intersection on Yonkers Avenue. In the second case, just a day later, Fernandez and Francis repeated the scam using the same red Hyundai car.
So these two boys basically just repeated this over and over again, just carjacking people's cars. But I also don't get why you needed a car. Why do you even need to hijack a car? Why do you need to carjack? You know, like if they don't have a car, but I'm like, bro, you can't just like steal a car. Maybe there's like some value to the car, because maybe that's the only reason why I think people can just steal cars. But also, like, they're luring like random strangers out in the middle of nowhere probably and just stealing their cars, basically forcing them with like guns and all these shit. If I was in the situation, I would be scared, but I would play into the victim. And when they're least expecting me to do any shit, I'm grabbing that gun, or I'm grabbing the wrist, gonna like break their wrist, trying to like break the gun out of their hand. And then that's when I just knock them the fuck out, and then I push them out of the way, and then I just, oh wait, well, it's two of them. So I think I might be overcrowded. I thought I was gonna find something, but I didn't. Hey, but I mean, look, I'm never gonna be in that situation.
set the meeting place with a buyer at Sycamore Avenue. The duo still stole the wallets, phones, and car keys. They took off with one of the victims in the victim's 2021 Toyota RAV4 and left the Hyundai and one of the victims behind at Riverdale. The hostage was taken around New York City, with 2 stops being made to withdraw a total of $6,000 from different banks. Meanwhile, the victim that was left behind at Riverdale alerted the police, and once Fernandez and Francis went back to the Bronx, where they had stashed the stolen Honda, the police were waiting for them. The two are facing life imprisonment if convicted. Selling counterfeit goods on Facebook Live. Now, this one isn't gruesome, but it's just pretty stupid. It involves a couple that was caught by the police while selling counterfeit goods during a live session.
How is
to
that
put this into
illegal?
perspective, you have to understand
mean-
that Portugal has very strict laws against counterfeiting. Being part of the European
Okay,
Union,
it's Portugal,
the laws are
right?
enforced as a way to protect the health of consumers and reduce financial losses by tax authorities and the companies making original products. The couple from Mirandela.
Okay, I was about to say, like, I don't get why counterfeiting is, like, illegal. This is in Portugal, and when he broke down that Portugal is very strict on counterfeiting, I'm like, okay, well, like, I feel like counterfeiting is not that bad. Like, if you're trying to, like, make money and you want to sell some fake stuff, like, do it. Like, I don't care when people... Oh, I'm sorry, my tripod is, like... Okay, but what I said is that, like, if you want to make money and you want to just sell fake stuff on Facebook or like anywhere, or like make your own website, I'm like, go ahead and do it. I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, you're scamming people. I mean, if people want to buy like fake stuff from you, like fake shit, then respect on you. And that's like a hustle. Like, you like doing this is like bravery, because I'm like, no, I'm not able to do that, bro. I don't know how I'm gonna get away with that. I don't know how many years, how many, like, probably days, or I don't know how many days, probably how many months I can get away with it. I just think that, like, counterfeiting, I just don't give a fuck about it. I just don't care if people counterfeit.
Portugal is seen in footage being caught red-handed selling illegal goods from their home.
Meus amores, e o meu homem já vai dizer os números que tem. É? Prontos. Então podem pedir
She's
para
showing
dizer
like
os
the
números, né?
logo of it. Oh, but also, I think like some fake stuff is also like very, almost looks too real for me, because when you sell fake shoes, they look very real to like.
The woman in the video is seen showing off a pair of fake Adidas trainers, and in the background, one can see.
And like I can see how, you know, the real thing is, the fake thing is looks way more real than the real thing, because it's almost, because you can't really tell the difference between the two unless you like see the small details and you see like, okay, I know which one's fake and which one's not. It's kind of scary. Like you don't know if you get scammed or if you just like got the real thing, because I mean, unless you go to the real store, it's like, okay, I got the real stuff. You never know, maybe someone on like Craigslist, Facebook, eBay, maybe one of them just wanted to sell their fake items.
A collection of bags and other retail products. The video also shows the couple being arrested dramatically, with the police entering with a loud bang at the door, and shortly after, a man is seen lying on the floor being handcuffed by the police. The police later shared the footage on social media to remind citizens in the region that, quote, counterfeiting is a crime, end quote. Alright guys, that was it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like. If you're not subscribed yet, it would be awesome if you could subscribe. And also, I know this was on the shorter side for a tough video, but like I said, we have like a 1 hour video just on conspiracy theories coming out. One blank from every state. It's a new entry in the series. In case you didn't watch my last video, that's Ages 1 to 100 Unexplained Disappearances. So it's a lot of missing people, and you know, like I said in the intro of that video, I just hope showing all their faces in the video could lead to something good. You know, I know it's like super unlikely, but I don't know, I just have that in my head. I think that would be really nice. But Two Gay Cats is almost out. I'll talk about that in the intro of the next one probably. But I do have a Patreon in case you guys want to support.
That was a really good video. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the reaction. Dangerous World of Facebook Criminals. Yeah, it was a good video. Not gonna lie, there was a lot of interesting stories, but I've watched this video a lot. I watched this video before, like a lot. Okay, you know, I just wanted to clarify that. I forgot to say that in the beginning. So I picked this one just because, you know, I'm like very interesting for a reaction. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. And also, I wanted to add a little bit of commentary to this because, you know, me watching it off camera is like really, it's just like I'm quiet throughout the whole thing, but I would, you know, say rest in peace to everyone, you know, everyone in this video that died, rest in peace. Sorry, it's gonna be all for today's video. Make sure you guys drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and also hit that notification bell. Please, I'm trying to get big on this website. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, bye. Peace, everyone.